It was an 8-year legal battle led by the Women Legal Center before a landmark constitutional court judgment in June 2022, which affirmed the rights of women in Muslim marriages. Parliament had 24 months to develop new legislation or amend the Divorce and Marriages Acts to rectify the defects by June this year. Only the Divorce Act has been amended so far and was signed into law by the President in May this year. The Centre says the recent announcement by Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber on the issuing of Muslim marriage certificates falls short of the Constitutional Court order.
We are of the view that Parliament was undertaking the process to enacting new legislation altogether. The marriage bill obviously lapsed just before elections, and it was reintroduced with the new administration. So we are still in the process of that, and the Women's Legal Center has been participating in the law reform process, giving comment, attending public hearings, giving input when necessary from a women's lived reality experience. So we were very surprised and obviously shocked to see that the minister is now saying that Muslim marriages are now recognized in South Africa. Yes, there is a court order from the Constitutional Court saying that Muslim marriages are recognized in South Africa. The Speaker of the National Assembly approached the Constitutional Court on an urgent basis in May this year, just before elections, because they would not be able to meet the deadline. So the Constitutional Court had given them 2 years, so it means that their deadline was until the end of June this year. But with elections and everything happening, then the Parliament then said that they won't have enough time. They're requesting for an extension. The Constitutional Court handed out judgment sometime in August this year, saying that it would be in the best interest to actually grant this request by the National Assembly, because they were in the process, or something has been done. So now the Constitutional Court has then granted Parliament time until June 2026 to enact legislation.
The Women's Legal Center says clarity on the power of the minister to issue certificates is crucial to avoid unforeseen legal consequences.
We just need to understand and understand on behalf of our clients and the women that walk into our law clinic every day with these queries. We need to understand which legal framework is the minister relying on, right? Because you have the Recognition of Customary Marriages Act for those who want to get married in terms of customary law. You have the Civil Marriage Act for those who want to be in civil marriages. You have the Civil Union Act for the same-sex couples, right? So we now need to know which legal framework is it, and what powers does the minister actually have? So in our interpretation, with the first batch of certificates that were actually granted, we are of the view that it was couples who are Muslim couples, got married in terms of Muslim rights. However, they took it upon themselves to protect themselves and their property, right? And then registered their marriage in terms of the Marriage Act. They could have gotten either an antenuptial contract or gotten married in community of property. So it seems like those marriage certificates in terms of the Marriage Act are now just merely converted into Muslim, right? But we don't understand how, right? Because you then need to break down what the legal consequences will be. Because if someone is married in community of property, XYZ follows. If someone is getting married out of community of property, XYZ follows. So we need to be able to understand and also advise the women that walk into our doors to say that this is what this actually means.
Al-Jama leader Hanif Hendricks, who has been actively participating from a lawmaker's perspective, has a different take. His party says such interim relief is necessary using the customary marriage legislation, as was agreed with the former Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.
Let me explain to you that there are 1,000 cases where women are in dispute because their husbands don't pay their maintenance, the husbands abuse them, they don't get the inheritance. So many women are winning their cases in the courts, and but the problem they have is they don't have a Muslim marriage certificate. So they've got to convince the courts that they are married. So now the issuing of Muslim marriage certificates, they don't have to convince the court that they are married in terms of the Sharia. You know, the Constitutional Court made a judgment that the Sharia marriage is a valid South African marriage. Secondly, the amendments to the Divorce Act gives a definition of what a Sharia marriage is. So that both of that helps the court. Then thirdly, the Department of Home Affairs now issues a Muslim marriage certificate using the legislative framework of the Recognition of Customary Marriages Act. So
And are you happy with that?
we are very happy with that because that is interim relief. So Muslims, when they get married in a mosque, they get a nikah certificate. That certificate is not recognized, has no legal consequences. So that means if one of them dies, the death certificate says never married. And that is an indignity. That means that children are illegitimate. It means that a woman are also, considered to be whores. So that indignity has now been removed by the minister and myself, working out, taking the necessary steps for a Muslim marriage certificate. Because now the death certificate will say married, restoring the dignity of Muslim women. And they don't, when they now go to court, they produce a Muslim marriage certificate. It's a valid South African marriage because the Constitutional Court said so.
As the legal debate over the issuing of marriage certificates for Muslim couples continues, Parliament has less than 2 years left to finalize the Marriages Bill. The bill seeks to create one single marriage act that would apply to all marriages in South Africa. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.